Okay, there is honestly no better feeling, right? When you're planning a trip and you book that flight and you get that price.
Hmm.
You know the one. The price that makes your friends kind of go, "Wait, how did you manage that?" It's that little thrill.
Yeah, that sweet victory.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into the strategies, the tools, the timing hacks that can turn that big flight cost into, well, hopefully the least painful part of your travel budget.
And it's not really about finding some, like, secret loophole.
No, not tricks.
Right. Our source is pretty clear. You're never going to truly outsmart the airlines. Their systems are, well, they're incredibly complex. Dynamic pricing, algorithms,
Yeah.
all designed to maximize their profit.
Yeah, you can't really game them.
But what you can do, and this is key, is significantly reduce that sting to your wallet. So we're distilling the core strategies, the things real travelers use to make flight costs manageable. It's about understanding how the pricing works, not trying to cheat it. Okay, so our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to arm you, the listener, with the timing tricks, the routing hacks, everything you need to shift your mindset a bit. Get your money out of the sky, basically, and back into your actual travel experiences, like that glass of wine you mentioned, or finding a great local guest house.
Exactly. So let's start with the absolute basics, the foundation, right? So when we talk flights, the first rule, it's almost like real estate, isn't it?
Location, 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 and timing.
Exactly. Location and timing. If you can just tweak those two things even slightly, the price can change dramatically.
That's your leverage. If your schedule has any wiggle room at all, you
Yeah.
immediately have an advantage. The data backs this up completely.
So like the same destination, same airline.
Yep. But flying out Tuesday morning instead of, say, Saturday morning, that difference alone could be hundreds of dollars. Literally hundreds.
And that flexibility also applies to where you fly from, right? Your
Oh, right.
location.
Oh, if you live near a major hub, you've got to look sideways sometimes. People often forget to check nearby secondary airports.
So you mean like using Burlington instead of Montreal, or maybe Porto instead of Lisbon if you're going to Portugal.
Precisely. And sometimes, honestly, the savings from flying into that smaller airport, it can cover your train ticket or bus to your final destination and maybe your first couple of Aperol spritzes.
Huh. I like that metric.
It's about thinking regionally, widening that airport search.
Ray. Okay, so flexibility is key. Then there's the timing of booking. The sources talk about the sweet spot. It's like the airlines reward you for booking at the right time, but punish you if you're too early or too late.
Yeah, they've got these algorithms. It's like they're unpredictable lovers, you know? You got to approach them at the right moment.
So what are the timings? What should we aim for?
Okay. Generally speaking, for domestic flights within your own country, you want to be booking about 1 to 3 months out.
1 to 3 months. Okay.
For international travel, that window gets bigger. Think 2 to 6 months ahead.
2 to 6. Got it. But what about, the really popular times? Summer holidays, Christmas?
Yeah, for peak season, you need to start way earlier, like 6 to 9 months ahead sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah, it gives you time to see what the baseline price is before everyone else starts looking and the demand just goes crazy.
And there was a pro tip in there too, right? About when during the week to actually click buy.
Yes. Avoid booking on weekends. That's when everyone else, the leisure travelers, are searching, and prices tend to spike.
Yeah.
Often you'll see fares dip a little bit, maybe Tuesday afternoon. Thinking is that's after the initial wave of business travel bookings for the week has settled down.
Interesting. Tuesday afternoon. Okay, good to know.
So if you're really serious about cutting down flight costs, you kind of have to accept something. Tracking fares.
Yeah.
It's not just a quick search. It's almost like a part-time job.
Yeah, prices change constantly, don't they? It's not set it and forget it.
Not at all. They're dynamic. So you need your own little helpers, your personal flight scouts.
Which is where tools like Google Flights come in. Or Skyscanner or Hopper.
Exactly. Those are essential. You set alerts for the route you want, your dates, and you just let them watch the market for you. The source material had a great analogy.
What was it? It said you should be stalking a flight for weeks, like a cat waiting to pounce. You're waiting for that notification ping. Price dropped.
I like that. Stalking flights. Okay, and this is where it can get complicated, right? The actual search process isn't always smooth.
Oh, definitely not. There's a really good case study in the sources, actually. Someone trying to get from Montreal to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and it was during the peak cruise season, so high demand. Initially, the search tools were throwing up really confusing results. False leads, routes that didn't make sense, like flying via Toronto unnecessarily.
Right. So step 1 is confusion. Sounds familiar.
Yeah. And then they dove into using points, loyalty programs. which is smart, but that led down its own rabbit hole.
How so?
Well, they found a potentially perfect flight using points from one program, like 14,000 points, plus maybe $200 cash. Sounded great,
But,
but it was for the exact day they needed to board their cruise. Too high risk if there were delays.
yeah, can't risk missing the boat.
Exactly. Then they compared other options, trying to convert Amex points, RBC Avion points, dead ends, or the value was terrible. Meanwhile, the cruise line itself was suggesting flights to the same date that were, get this, over $1,700 each.
$1,700 compared to the points option. That's insane.
Right. So the lesson here really is persistence. This person had to keep alerts running for like 1 or 2 months, specifically waiting for Air Canada to release award seats at a reasonable rate for the return flight.
So they booked the outbound, but had to wait and stock the return.
Yep. After hitting walls with other programs, it just shows you might get several no's before you find that yes.
But the effort paid off in the end compared to that $1,700 price tag.
Massively. They eventually got the flight sorted using points conversions for a fraction of that cost. It really highlights the value you can find if you're patient and persistent.
Okay, and for people trying to figure out if a points deal is actually good, there was a quick rule of thumb mentioned, right?
Yeah, useful little benchmark. Just estimate roughly 1 cent per point. So if a flight costs $500 cash or 50,000 points, that's about 1 cent per point value. If it's 100,000 points for that same $500 flight, the value isn't as good.
Got it. 1 cent per point as a quick check. Helpful. That case study leads us perfectly into the next big topic.
Yeah.
Points and miles.
This is huge.
If you're not collecting points somehow through airline programs, hotel programs, travel credit cards, you are genuinely leaving free flights on the table.
Absolutely. Think about it. Your everyday spending, groceries, gas, maybe your Netflix subscription, all of that can be earning you miles that add up surprisingly fast, enough for a weekend getaway sometimes. And the biggest bang for your buck comes from the credit card sign-up bonuses, right?
Oh, without a doubt. That's the single best move you can make. We're talking about offers like, say, 60,000 bonus points just for signing up and meeting a minimum spend in the first few months.
And 60,000 points.
Yeah.
What does that actually translate to in travel?
Well, depending on the program and how you use them, that could easily be a round-trip ticket to Europe.
Wow, just from one sign-up bonus.
Potentially, yes. It's immediate, massive value just for choosing the right card and using it for spending you were doing anyway.
Okay, so which cards should people be looking at? The sources mentioned a few specific ones. Yeah, they give some good examples. For Canadians, they flag things like the Aeroplan Visa Infinite cards, maybe for TD, or the American Express Cobalt card, because it earns points really quickly on food and drink.
Okay. And for listeners in the U.S.?
The Chase Sapphire Preferred is a classic recommendation, great transfer partners. And the Capital One Venture X was mentioned too, also strong on points and perks.
So these cards help you earn the points, but they also help with something else. Those dreaded fees.
Yes, the fee killers. You do all this work, finding a cheap fare, timing it right, using points, and then bam. Fees can wipe out all your savings.
We're talking checked bags, seat selection, even paying just to bring a proper carry-on sometimes.
Exactly, especially with the ultra-low-cost carriers, like Ryanair in Europe or Spirit in the U.S. They are absolute masters of the nickel and dime. That headline fare looks great, but the final cost can easily double.
So what's the counter strategy, besides just getting angry? Ha! Well, the #1 tip from seasoned travelers is pretty simple. Travel light. Just pack less.
Basically, yeah. Embrace the single carry-on lifestyle. Aim for something around 40 liters, which usually fits most airline sizers. You save the bag fee, maybe $50 each way, and you skip the nightmare of waiting at the baggage carousel. Win-win.
Okay, but let's be real. Sometimes you just need to check a bag. Ski trip, long vacation.
Totally understandable. And that's where those travel credit cards come back into play.
How so?
Many of the airline co-branded cards, like that Aeroplan Visa Infinite we mentioned. If you hold that card, you often get your first checked bag free when you fly with Air Canada.
Ah, so the card itself provides a perk that cancels out a major fee.
Exactly. It bundles in that benefit. So you pay the annual fee for the card, but you save potentially hundreds on baggage fees over the year, plus you get the points and other perks. It neutralizes one of the biggest fee traps.
Okay, so we've tackled flexibility, timing, points, and fees.
Yeah.
What else is in the toolkit? We need to talk about the actual route, the itinerary itself.
Yeah, because the way airlines structure fares has changed. The old assumption that a simple round-trip ticket is always cheapest, that's often not true anymore.
Really? So just booking Toronto-London and London-Toronto might not be the best deal?
Not necessarily. You have to get more creative. Think mix and match.
What do you mean?
Try booking 2 separate one-way tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Toronto to London on Air Canada, but London back to Toronto on British Airways, or even using points on a different airline altogether. It opens up way more options and price points.
Okay, 2 one-ways. What else?
Open jaw tickets. This is great. You fly into one city, say, you fly into Lisbon, but you fly home out of a different city, like Porto.
Oh, I like that. Perfect if you're doing a road trip or traveling around a region.
Yeah.
No backtracking, just to catch your flight home.
Exactly. It gives you way more freedom in planning your actual trip on the ground.
Now, there's another strategy mentioned. Sounds a bit sneaky. The hidden city trick.
Yes. Skiplagged is the site most known for finding these. The idea is you book a flight that has a layover in the city you actually want to go to.
So, like booking Toronto to Miami with a layover in New York, but you actually just want to go to New York?
Precisely. You get off the plane in New York during the layover
Yeah.
and just don't get back on for the final leg to Miami.
Okay, that sounds clever, but also risky. What's the catch? The huge E catch. The absolute non-negotiable rule is this only works if you have carry-on luggage only.
Why?
Because if you check a bag, it's tagged through to the final destination on your ticket. So you'll be happily wandering around New York while your suitcase is flying merrily on its way to Miami without you. Right. Okay. Critical point. Carry on only for hidden city. Got it. Now, something that sounds much less risky and maybe even more fun, turning layovers into mini trips. Yes. Stopover programs. This is amazing value. Instead of dreading a long layover, some airlines actually let you expend it for free or very cheaply, turning it into a bonus destination.
So you get 2 cities for the price of 1 flight, essentially. Pretty much. And there are some fantastic programs out there. The sources highlighted a few. Qatar Airways lets you stop over in Doha for free, sometimes up to 4 nights, and they even bundle in cheap hotel deals.
Wow. Doha. Okay.
Iceland Air is famous for its free stopover in Reykjavik, up to 7 days. TAP Portugal lets you do it in Lisbon or Porto for up to 5 nights. Singapore Airlines also has well-regarded, affordable stopover packages.
That's incredible. It completely changes how you might plan a long-haul trip.
Yeah.
Instead of just enduring the journey, you're adding another whole experience.
Exactly. It's about maximizing the value of that flight ticket, not just minimizing the cost. Okay, one more major strategy, and it comes back to timing, but on a bigger scale, the time of year you travel.
Right. If you can avoid peak summer, you're already ahead of the game.
Massively ahead.
Yeah.
Flying in July or August often means paying a premium just for the privilege of sharing your vacation spot with absolutely everyone else.
So the smart move is the shoulder season.
That's the sweet spot. Shoulder seasons, basically spring and fall, offer this perfect combination. Usually, you get cheaper flights,
Okay.
noticeably fewer crowds at attractions.
Right.
And often, the weather is actually better than the peak summer heat.
All right. So when are these magical shoulder seasons generally?
For Europe, you're looking at April and May in the spring, or September and October in the fall.
April, May, September.
For Asia, think late January through March, but be careful to avoid the absolute peak of Lunar New Year travel, which can be intense.
Got it.
Asia, late Jan-Mar. Avoid Lunar New Year. And for South America, May or October often hit that sweet spot of good conditions and lower prices.
May or October. Okay. And obviously this applies domestically too, right? Avoiding school breaks, long weekends.
So absolutely. Anytime there's a major holiday or school vacation in Canada or the U.S., demand spikes and prices follow aggressively, more than any fuel surcharge sometimes.
Good point. Okay, a couple of final sort of specialized tips that came up. Anything for older travelers?
Yeah, it's worth knowing that some airlines might offer senior discounts, maybe for travelers over 60 or 65. Think Lufthansa, British Airways, maybe Southwest.
Okay.
But the sources caution that finding these deals and actually getting a significant discount is pretty rare these days. But it doesn't hurt to ask or check the airline's website.
Always worth checking. And what about splurging a little? Not full business class, but maybe?
Premium economy, yes. This was flagged as the real sweet spot for comfort versus cost.
Better seat, a bit more legroom, maybe slightly better food.
Exactly. All those little upgrades that make a long flight much more bearable, but without that huge jump to business class prices. And the key here is to watch for sales. Airlines sometimes discount premium economy cabins quite nicely if you time it right.
Okay, premium economy sales. Good tip for a bit more comfort. Hashtag tag outro. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. If we boil it all down, what are the main takeaways for you, the listener, trying to save money on flights? It seems like three main pillars.
I think so. First, radical flexibility
Yeah.
on your dates, your times, even your airports.
Okay, flexibility number one.
Second, leverage loyalty.
Hmm.
Points, miles, credit card perks, sign-up bonuses. Use those tools aggressively.
Leverage loyalty number two.
And third, creative routing. Think one-ways, think open jaws, maybe even embrace those stopovers.
Creative routing number three. Flexibility, loyalty, creativity.
Yeah, and the whole goal, really, is just to shift where your money goes. Spend less on the getting there
Right. Less on the airline seat.
and more on the experiences when you arrive. That wine tasting in Bordeaux you mentioned, or finding that amazing little guest house in Kyoto, that's what travel should be about.
Well said. Okay, let's leave our listeners with a final thought to chew on. Something provocative. Okay, how about this? We talked about those credit card sign-up bonuses, right? How maybe 60,000 points could potentially equal a round trip to Europe.
Yeah.
So the question for you to think about is, how much of your current everyday annual spending could you realistically convert into future travel? Just by auditing and optimizing your use of maybe one single high-value travel credit card?
Go take a look at the points you're earning now, or the points you could be earning. How much travel equity are you potentially sitting on, just waiting to be unlocked?